Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. In this tutorial, we are dealing with one of the most essential parts of programming in Python, that is control flow using if, elif, and else. You will understand how Python makes decisions based on conditional statements. So control flow is how a program decides which code to execute based on conditions. It is like if this is true, do that, otherwise do something else. So you can see the basic structure of if condition. It is like if condition, then you can write a block of code, and if else, if another condition is there, then you can write another piece of code, and if both these conditions are not met, then remaining is else. You can write the remaining else statement there. So you have to make sure that the colon should be mandatory in if, elif, and else, and what are the conditions or the statements of code that you're writing under if, elif, and else should be under these statements. It should be indented with 4 spaces or a tab. Better to use a tab instead of counting the spaces. So you will look at a basic example of if-else condition. We have a variable, an integer variable called num, and we have assigned the value 10. We can check whether the number is positive or negative or 0. Of course, you know this number is positive, it is not 0 or negative, but still we can check it. If num greater than 0, then you can write print number is positive. Now we are going to write elif statement. Elif should not come under the print, because if it comes under the print, it goes as the next statement of if. We are not going to write the next statement of if. We are going to write a new statement, that is elif. Elif means you have to write the condition here, number. So number equals to 0. Equals is you have to give 2 equal signs to check the equality, then quotes, and you can write the print statement, print number is 0. Now we have to write else. So we are checking whether the number is positive, 0, or negative. So if it is greater than 0, it is positive. If it is equal to 0, it is 0. And obviously the third condition is less than 0. So no need to write the third condition. Instead of that, you can write else, print number is negative. So you can execute the code. You can press shift and enter, and you can see the number is positive. If you give a negative symbol here, then if you execute it, the number is negative. If you make it as 0 and execute it, number is 0. So this is a basic example of if statement. So we can consider one more example. We can give age equals to 15, and we will check whether this person is eligible for getting the driving license. If age greater than or equal to 18, print eligible for license. So you need only one check whether you have to be 18 or you have to be greater than 18. So you can write it as else print not eligible. So according to this statement, the age is 15, so he won't be eligible for the license. So you are getting the answer not eligible. So now suppose you are having a use case that you need to check the number whether it comes between 10 or 30 or 10 or 20. So how we are going to use that? How we are going to do the if-else statement for that? For that you can use nested if statement. Nested if means, okay, if inside an if. That means this if statement is there. Instead of writing print, of course you can write print statement, and after print statement, instead of going to else if or else, you can write the next if under this line itself. Under this line you can write the next if. That means the control of execution will not go here. Control of execution will come inside this. That means if the age is greater than 18, so it won't go below 18. That means the answer is not going to go below 18. It will check. If it comes inside this statement, it will run fully this statement. If another if statement is coming inside this, it will execute that if statement, and then only it will come outside this if statement. So we can write an example. We check whether the number comes between 10 and 30. So we have a number 25. We need to check whether the number comes between 10 and 30. So if num greater than 10, print number is greater than 10. Now, as soon as you print that, you need to check whether, of course, this is greater than 10. Now we have to check, you can't come outside of this loop because it is already greater than 10. You have to check whether it comes under 30. So once again, you need to check if num less than 30, you can write print number is between 10 and 30. You have to understand that, okay, this print statement is for this if condition. If it is greater than 10 only, it will come to this statement. So if you are giving a number that is 5, then definitely it is not going to come inside any of these statements. It will come here to the else statement. Else print number is less than 10. So you can, when you execute, you can see, isn't it? The number is greater than 10, number is 25. So number is between 10 and 30. If you are going to give 35, we can see it came to this statement, number is greater than 10, but when it checked under 30, it didn't match the condition. So it came outside, and of course, it got printed number is greater than 10. Now, if you are giving 5, of course, it won't come inside this statement at all. It will go and execute this else statement that it will show number is less than 10. You can see number is less than 10. Only the numbers that are greater than 10 and less than 30 will get executed in this statement. So this is about nested if. You can write inside a if statement, if condition. So you can write one more condition here if you want. That is up to the use cases what you are going to deal with. So now we will do another thing, multiple condition using logical operators. So there are 3 logical operators which we are going to deal with. One is and, or not. And means 2 conditions should be equal. This statement itself, you can write it in a different way. You can write it as num equals 15, and we are going to write it as if num greater than 10 and num less than 30, then print number is between 10 and 30. Else print number is not between 10 and 30. So here the number should come between 10 and 30. You can execute it, same result you got, number is between 10 and 30. So if both the cases are right, then this condition will get executed. If suppose the number is greater than 10 but greater than 30, suppose the number is 45, this is not going to get executed. It will directly come here and it will show that number is not between 10 and 30. So you can see number is not between 10 and 30. And suppose the number is less than 10, then also it will show number is not between 10 and 30. When the condition comes between 10 and 30, this will get executed. So that is one use of logical operators in this if condition. If both the cases are right, then you can use AND operator. Now the next case is OR operator. OR means if either of these two are correct, you can execute it. That means if the number is greater than 10 or the number is greater than 30, it will get executed. Less than 30, it will get executed. But if the number is negative, then it won't get executed. Otherwise, whatever number you give, it will get executed, because you can see here one more time, we can check here, number equals to 15. And if number greater than 10 or number, or should be in small letters, number greater than 30, print number is greater than 10 or less than 30. So obviously number is greater than 10 or less than 30, but still it will work, because even though 15 is lesser than 30, we have given an OR operator here, and because of that, this is going to work. Another example is that if you are studying in a high school or college, and if you are taking the second language as French or Spanish or Latin, and if you have to select one language and in your school or in your college, Latin is not there, only French or Spanish is there. Then you can write an example of this. You can write language equals to, you can write French, and you can write the statements if language equals to French or language equals to. For equals, you have to write two equal sign equals to Spanish. You can write print eligible for admission. You can write else print not eligible. So since you have written French, of course, definitely you are going to be eligible. If you are writing Spanish, then also you are going to be eligible. But if you are going to write something as Latin, then you will be getting not eligible. This is not like, okay, you have to be having French and Spanish. Anything is fine. Any one condition is fine. For that, you will be using OR operator. If both the conditions should be met, you will be using AND condition. If either of the condition, only either of the condition needs to be met, you will be writing OR condition. So not means, see, we have written here if language equals French. Instead of that, you can write it in a negative way also. If language not equals to Spanish, or if language not equals to Latin. For that, you can use not operator. You can write it here itself. Language equals to French, and you can write if not language equals to Latin, print eligible, else print not eligible. This means, okay, whichever language other than in your school or college, Latin is not there, but all the other languages are. That means you can, instead of writing all the languages one by one, you can write it in this way, in a negative way, that if Latin is not there, then you are eligible. Latin is there, then you are not eligible. Only you have French. You have French, that means, okay, you are eligible. It is not going to come to this statement. It is going to come to the else statement. So you can see this is eligible. You can see, give any language name here. Hindi, if you are giving, it will come to eligible because it is not Latin. If you type Latin, then it is going to show not eligible. So this is not operator in conditional statements. So these are the basic conditional statements, including the logical operators as well as the nested if statements. Hope this was a helpful video. Have a nice day.